Hey everyone, Merry Christmas. Another fun night, getting soaked. I wish it would have been colder than it. At least it would have been snow. Would have made it for a storybook type ending, but can't get them all. I watched this channel, Taverish, I'm not sure. They did some challenges, almost reminded me of Top Gear in a way. Just three guys, and they have the first one I saw they bought extremely cheap supercars, and they went through this gauntlet of challenges to see which one was the best and had the most mechanical repairs and highest depreciation value, stuff like that. So it was just fun to watch their interactions. And then the last one was it was supposed to be the most reliable luxury car, but they turned it into the most unreliable luxury car. And that was also a really fun show. It's not over yet. There's still another episode to come out. But it was fun watching them interact. They seem like they're good friends. I don't know. I assume they are, but anyway, it was just a fun interaction. I was talking with a coworker, and he's getting tired of shift work. I've been tired of shift work even before I started doing shift work. But he's kind of down on himself, thinks that there's not a whole lot of choices left for him. He's getting up there in age. I don't know, he's probably in his 40s, but that's the way he's feeling anyway. Maybe he's 50, I don't know. But yeah, I was trying to tell him the only person that's stopping you is you. There's nothing to say that you can't do it. You might not have the money to start up your business right now, but if you start cutting back a little bit here or there to save money, you can eventually start buying your equipment, looking for rental spaces if you need a building to actually operate out of. Like, there's so many other ways to look at this instead of I have to have 50, 60 grand right now to start my business. And you will need it, but you don't always need it right up front. You can just start piecing it out, and that's what I was trying to tell him to do. Like, look, man, find out how much it costs to get your materials. Find out how much it costs to get your equipment. Find out how much it costs, to rent the building, to do a storefront, or whatever it is that you're trying to do. And he just was kind of humbugging about it, and I hate it for him. Somebody that wants to do something different in life but doesn't want to put forth the effort to do something different. I mean, I'm guilty of it myself, but I'm actively learning. I haven't put forth the effort financially, but I'm putting forth the effort mentally, trying to get educated before I make any foolish mistakes, to try to minimize the foolish mistakes, because ultimately it's going to cost me money and it's going to cost me time, and I don't really want to give up either one of those unless I have to. But I encourage anybody listening to this, if there's something that you want to do, start breaking it down into more manageable pieces. I heard this expression a long time ago. You may have heard it, but what's the best way to eat an elephant? It's one bite at a time. If you sit there and look at the whole elephant and think, man, I'll never be able to do that, that's impossible. But if you start breaking it down in smaller pieces and just work at it slowly but surely, you'll get it done. And that's what I was trying to help him do. Just start breaking it down into smaller pieces. You want to open up a salon where you cut hair or whatever. You got to know what your equipment costs are. How much does it cost to get all your licenses? How much does it cost to get all the signage, the business front? Do you need a huge space, or can you get away with a small studio? If you start looking at these individual items and answering those questions, it'll give you a much better picture of what you need to start your own thing, instead of just thinking like, oh man, I'll never be able to afford, chairs are $500 and rent will be $1,200 a month at the studio. And it's easy to just throw abstract, arbitrary numbers out there based on stuff you might have heard from people. But if you sit there and actually iron it out, then you have a goal. Now you have something to work towards instead of just automatically being defeated, automatically thinking you'll never be able to do it. You start breaking it down, dollar amount by dollar amount, licensing, businesses, business name, whatever you're trying to do, however small you need to break it down, it's easier to process. You can handle it. Thinking about opening a business for a lot of people for the first time. Hey, deer. Wow, lots of deer. Wow, lots of deer. Is very terrifying. It's a big undertaking. What if it doesn't work? Now I'm out of money. I'm out of work. I owe people money potentially. I can't provide, take care of my kids or whatever it is. Like, it is very daunting. But if you break these things down, give yourself a safety net, cut back as much as you can to get that safety net to acquire these things, and then take a chance. It's, with COVID and quarantine, I'm sure that changes the whole landscape of everything, because you can't really go places that are on lockdown. You can't really be inside buildings very long. I know I've turned into a big germaphobe. I don't want to go out. I go to the grocery store and I go home and I come to work, and that's all I do. I just want to minimize the risk of exposing it to other people, because if I kill anybody that I care about, I'll feel so guilty. If they get sick and it's traced back to me, I'd feel so guilty. I just couldn't live with that. So I do my best to minimize it. But anyway, I know that changes the landscape of things. So you're going to have to look at what it takes to make your business functional. And if it's not the right time because of COVID, then you're going to have to put it out. But realistically, taking my advice right now, setting aside money and looking into all this stuff, the chances of you being ready next week, next month, probably slim. Because if you're making the kind of money to afford that, maybe you're not hurting to leave. Maybe you just want to do something different, so you can afford to keep saving, make a bigger nest egg. That way, whenever you take the leap of faith, if it doesn't catch traction as fast as you want it to, you have that much more to kind of rely on. So to me, there's no rush. If you are wanting to do something different and you can't afford to do it, hopefully COVID and vaccines and stuff will be out by the time you get the money. And if you have the money to start right now, but it's just not the right climate, sit on it. Wait until you see things start shaping the way you want it to. Maybe you might need to relocate. Maybe this isn't the right area that you're currently in. Maybe you need to go to Texas or Georgia or wherever that would allow you to prosper. It's a lot of hard decisions to take family out of the equation. If you're leaving your parents for the first time, you've never moved out of the city, or if you're having to uproot your whole family to move somewhere, it's all in planning and figuring out what's feasible and what's right. If you and your partner are working jobs that you don't like, and you've got the opportunity to go to Texas again or Georgia or any state and make your dream come true, your partner potentially could not have to get a job, or they might only have to work for a little bit, or could allow them the opportunity to do something they've always wanted to do. So you can sit where you're at, doing the same thing and getting nowhere. But you can set a plan, start ironing out your details to the smallest, most minute thing that you can think of. Go talk to other business owners. Find out things that they didn't plan for. Find out, just talk to people. And then go from there. If you break it down, you get as much information as you can, you'll be that much more prepared. It's never going to be bulletproof. You're never going to have all the answers. But you can certainly make it more manageable than just this grandiose, man, I want to open a business, but what if it fails? Like, that will stop you every time. Man, I want to do this, but what if it fails? Like, in anything. What if I want to go skydiving, but what if my chute doesn't open? Like, all of these things are rational feelings. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're letting it hold you back from something that you really want to do, you're only hurting yourself. There's nothing to it but to do it. The only person that's stopping you is you. So if it's something that you really want to accomplish, you got to take that first step and that second step and persevere. You gotta make it work. You gotta want it bad enough. There's a motivational video. I'll try and find it and link it in the description below. But back when I was selling cars, I used to listen to it every day, literally every day when I drove to work to sell cars, because I knew that I had to have the right mindset to talk to people, to earn their trust, to then earn their business. And it's a motivational speech. It's not about sales. It's just like getting your mind right to do your best job, because sales was kind of terrifying to me. So I used this to pump me up, to get my mind focused. Oh. And I just think it's really important to have the right mindset. Mindset is key for almost anything you do in life. You do something happy or sad or scared or mad, it's going to affect the outcome. So if you have the right mindset, you can really make it through a lot of things. This really turned into a preachy type video. I didn't intend it to be. It just, when I walked in to clock out, I was like, hey man, did you look up prices on any of that stuff? He's like, nah man, I'm too tired. I'm just like, all right, that's fine. I get it. I get being too tired. But the way he said it, just kind of like he threw it out the window. Like, I'm never going to do it. So what's the point? And that's unfortunate. Somebody that wants to spend more time with their kids, be home with their wife, provide a better financial future. The power is in your hands. You just got to take those steps. I'm almost talking to myself at this point, but I'm still not confident. I'm trying to break these things down into these small, bite-sized, digestible pieces. I suffer from paralysis by analysis, where I will want this to be the most perfect equation that I have every piece of information for, to then execute. But most of the time, I'd say 95% of the time, I break it down, I analyze it, I do so much time, and then nothing. I walk away from it. I'm just like, well, I've already invested so much time, I'm bored with it, or I realize it's not going to be as profitable, or XYZ number of excuses. I just never execute. And so I have to work on that for me. I got to go to the next step. I was finally able to do that with the stock market. I tried it with a Shopify account, and I didn't have all the answers for the Shopify. It failed for me. The stock market would have worked, but we'll never know, because COVID hit and really took it all away. I've been trying to climb out. It's definitely a 2-step forward, 1-step back type of situation. But I'm not giving up these things. I've put a lot of time and effort into learning in the stock market, and I intend to try and see this thing through. But you got to keep in mind. Yawning so much. You got to keep in mind the only person that's holding you back is you. Nobody else can really stop you from doing these things, because there's always a way around them. Either through them, around them, another state, another job. Like there's always another avenue to get things done. You just have to be highly motivated to do it. So break things down to smaller, more manageable situations so that you can get the information you need. Tell yourself that you can do this. Believe in yourself. There's nothing to it but to do it. The only person that's stopping you is you. And the best way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time. Freaking out about it, looking at the large picture is important. Once you have all the details, then you can step back and look at this painting. But if you just look at a big blank canvas and trying to think about what am I going to put on here, you'll probably freeze up. You'll probably freak out. But if you just start looking at, well, I'll just start with a bush, and then I'll start with the road, and maybe I'll add some birds, and eventually you'll fill this whole canvas, no problem. But just trying to figure out what you're going to slap on this canvas from the jump might not be your thing. I don't know. Painting intimidating to me. So that's why I'm using that as an example. I'm sure plenty of artists out there can look at a large canvas, no problem, and just start going to town. That's not my forte. That's not how I operate. So I don't like that we can't pass this guy. I appreciate what he's doing. He's salting the roads. I guess we have some issues with ice potential. A little worried about my car picking up all this ice, but I mean, at least it's not wet yet. Anyway, I'm sorry. Sorry if this came off a little preachy. I hope I can inspire you and motivate you to try and pursue your dreams. Life is short. You've only got but so much time here. Make the best of it. It's easy to do nothing. It's easy to deal with what you've always dealt with because it's comfortable. Stepping outside your comfort zone is difficult. I know from experience myself. But if you're tired of what you have to stop doing what you're doing and try and do something different. If you go down, you've learned. If you go up, you've learned. But if you're tired of where you're at, you have to start stepping out and learning more things, trying more things, getting that experience. Well, I'm going to end on that, guys. I appreciate you joining me on Christmas. I hope you have a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Whatever it is you celebrate, I hope that your day is filled with love and family and people you care about that you consider family, whether it's blood or not. I hope it's a very great day for you. And I will see you on my drive in tonight after Christmas. Well, after the Christmas festivities. If you enjoyed this video, click the like button. If you want to get notified for my new videos, please subscribe. And thanks for joining me, guys.